Arsene, let's start with a little bit of news. Thomas Vermaelen signed a new contract. You must be very pleased about that.
Yes, it's a privilege to play for Arsenal Football Club, and so many players understand that. And on our side, we are happy to, of course, extend his contract because it's shown that he has the quality to play for us.
And particularly him, he's a key player, a spinal player, and a leader. As
well, and he can, of course, left-footed players who are central defenders. You do not find many, and it's important in this position to have a player who can has a good first pass with his left foot, and he's as well a player who is versatile. You could even imagine he could play sometimes midfield or even left back if an emergency happened. And he's a young boy as well, you know, that what people forget, if you take, for example, Giroud, Mertesacker, Koscielny and Vermaelen, they're all 25, 26 years old. That means for centre-backs, they have 10 years in front of them.
Let's turn to the Marseille game. Team news, the doubts were concerning Gibbs and Ramsey. What's the news?
Gibbs is out. Gibbs has a muscle strain in his stomach and is out for, I think, 2 weeks. And Ramsey is fit.
Any other ins or outs, team news?
No, everybody else is, we have no knocks from Sunday, and everybody else is available.
You're going back to Marseille. How many times have you been back there since you left French football?
Well, I don't think I was ever there since I left French football, but I have memories of some big battles there, because with Monaco we did always fight with Marseille for the championship, and there was massive passion around the games. It's the football city in France, and OM is part of the French culture in Marseille, you know. The life of every family is really linked with this club, and maybe more than anywhere else.
And just finally from me, you've talked about the fact that 2 games against Marseille will decide your fate in the group. How key is this game in particular?
For us, a positive result would put us in a strong position to qualify, because you could see until now that you have 3 contenders, Marseille, Dortmund and Arsenal, and it will be interesting to see how strong Marseille is tomorrow, because after we play them at home, so for us to get at least 4 points out of these 2 games would put us in a very strong position.
Arsene, hello. What sort of message do you feel it sends out, the fact that you've managed to get Thomas Vermaelen to sign up to a new long-term deal?
Well, that we are very positive. I believe that if you look well at the strengths in depth we have a very positive future, because as I just told you, our centre-backs are young in this position. You look at the players who are coming through, like Chamberlain, Wilshere, that everybody of course knows, Ramsey, Frimpong, Coquelin. We have fantastic young players, and there's many more that you don't know. So overall, it's good for the club.
Does it help move the club on from last summer? You were saying on French radio that it was the most agitated you've ever known, and that nearly half the players in the dressing room.
Well, what is important, it gives to our environment a different message, because when you listen to people, it looks like it's exodus. When you read about Arsenal, you know that everybody is leaving the club, and we are a happy club with who had not the start of a season that we wanted, but the overall inside atmosphere at the club is very solid, very united, and very positive. So we want to turn the results around, and the fact that some players extend their contract at the moment in this period is a positive sign for us.
Unity being the key by the sound of it. Do you think that the side is more unified because of the experience of the summer then, and that it was difficult then?
That's down to our mental strengths. I believe that the club has traditionally always shown strengths under pressure, and I just would like to say that we were a lot under pressure since the start of the season, But in the big games, we always manage to find the resources to respond well, especially the biggest games we have played since the start of the season were the qualifiers for the Champions League. Certainly recently against Sunderland, where we had absolutely to win the game, and there is another one tomorrow.
Do you think the captain's armband is inspiring Robin van Persie? He's always been a major contributor for you, but even more so it seems now.
He takes his role very seriously, but what is inspiring Robin van Persie is that, let's touch wood, for a long time he had a consistent presence and has not been disturbed by injuries. And the biggest problem in modern sport is to be in and out, because it gets to take so much time to find the sharpness back. And I think he scored 27 goals in 34 games. That is absolutely exceptional.
Your touchline ban has come to an end now from the Champions League perspective. How much are you looking forward to being in the dugout?
Well, in Marseille you're more comfortable in the dugout than in the stand.
Arsene, do you feel that any insecurities and frailties at the back have been magnified since Thomas Vermeulen's been out injured?
I don't know. I believe that Mertesacker had to adjust to English pace and English commitment, and I feel that in every game he gets stronger. Let's not forget that we missed as well Koscielny, you know, and I personally feel that the defensive frailties we had recently, very recently, were more down to other departments in the team than to our defenders.
This is the second of three intimidating venues that you have to face in the group stage. How do you expect your players to handle it tomorrow night?
Well, I'm convinced that you do not find a better atmosphere than Dortmund. Dortmund is one of the hottest places in Europe, certainly, with 80,000 people in a positive atmosphere. But Marseille, at the moment, they rebuild their stadium for the Euro, so you will have tomorrow night less an impression of a complete Marseille atmosphere. I think one stand in the opposite of a dugout is completely empty at the moment, so it will be a little bit a strange feeling.
Do you feel the players are thriving more in the Champions League, playing with perhaps a little bit more freedom compared to the Premier League at the moment?
Well, we were a bit less under pressure than in the Premier League, where, of course, we are always absolutely in the need to win the games. So we played a little bit with more freedom, yes.
Less pressure, but this is a key double-header against Marseille, isn't it?
This one is a game with pressure, because you know these two games will basically decide your future.